the submission and an overall perspective. We have two judges at C, Germany's Henning Lerman, Netherlands Monique Poets-Vegter. At E, Kurt Christensen from Denmark and Alban Tiscott from France. As I said, 16 combinations coming forward for this 5-year-old final. Tomorrow we will be bringing you the final for the 7-year-old horses at 9 a.m. Central European Time. The CDI 3-star Grand Prix Freestyle at 12:30 and the 6-year-old final at 2:45. So make sure you join us here on Clip My Horse for all of the action. Also, you can download the Spectator Judging app to join in with our panel of judges. You can download it from the App Store on your iPhone or your Play Store on your Android. It's completely free. And you can give either individual marks, like the judges do, or an overall mark. And these will be announced at the end with the judges' score.
From France,
this is the start list. We have Charlotte Maria, Sherman and Lifetime 13. Our first combination to come forward at 4:30. The top 8 will come forward with Leoni Richter and In My Mind, the 8th rider to go. Frederick Vondre is there, number 15 to come in. He was the winner of the first qualifying round with Fashion Prince OLD. Leoni Richter and Vitalos, number 14 at 7 o'clock. She was second, and Victoria E. Valentin, she is last to go, and she was third. But as we know, it's dressage. Anything can happen. So make sure you watch right the way through to see who's going to be crowned our 5-year-old gold medalist. First into the arena, though, we have Charlotte Maria Sherman. She's representing Germany. She is riding this stallion called Lifetime. This stallion is by Livelden. The Dam Sire Furstenball. This Hanoverian is owned by Domus Equus Snyder, SC, and the breeder is Johannes Hasselink. They scored 8.48 in the qualifying round to come 11th, just outside the top 10. These horses had actually a really tough time in the qualifying round. We had some really, really horrendous weather. It was absolutely pouring with rain here in Ermelo. The weather being a little bit kinder today. The atmosphere really buzzing. So the bell has gone for this combination to start us off in the FEI final test for 5-year-old horses. And into the arena, first up is Germany's Charlotte Maria Sherman and Lifetime. Very expressive horse. I was overwhelmed by the quality of these young horses in the first qualifying round. Just needed to watch the balance at times there in the Serpentine. Lovely ground cover here in the medium trot. Lovely transition into the walk. Just needs to keep that activity in the walk pirouette. And again, just watch the balance coming out. Better balance there on the 10-meter circle. Just needs to make sure, oh, just lost the balance coming out there. Broke into canter. That's a real pity. Just like to see the horse maybe a little bit more supple. Lovely frame there in the medium trot again. Just needs to make sure it's not too hurried. Taking that stretch in the medium walk. Some really good ground cover here. Lovely relaxation. Really nice swing through. Hard to keep the balance in the canter, and again to get that transition back up into the canter. Nice stretching. You can see the horse really willing to take that stretch down and out. I want to see them wanting to seek that bit forward. As she comes to her final halt, that's it for Charlotte Maria Sherman and Lifetime for Germany. Our first combination in the arena today. Some really lovely work, especially in the walk. The canter was beautifully uphill. We will be hearing from the judges. I just felt in the trot she lost a bit of balance at times. The connection was somewhat affected. So we will be hearing from the judge now. And here are the scores.
For presenting your horse here, you have a really lovely horse, but today, unfortunately, some small mistakes we come later to that we put into the submission. The trot is very elastic, very active, And special nice medium, there he had a lot of energy and also came back nice to the medium again. We give an 8.7. The walk is clear, very active, good overtrack. At the end, slightly more stretching, and then lost a bit activity. But for the good active O-track, a 9. The canter is very uphill, good active cadence, nice air time, and also the medium canter is nice and coming back to good self-carriage. Also a 9. But for the submission, he had some small things I said before. In the walk pirouette, he lost one step and a small mistake in the canter strike, and unfortunately, wrong canter. There's some small things to do, and he changed in the counter canter. That's why you have to go down for submission 6.8. But overall, what we said before, it's a lovely horse. He has a good ability to collect. 3 nice paces and very good in the contact. So for perspective, an 8.4. Thank you.
So that gives a total score of 83.8. Spectator judging, very, very similar. They were on 81.089. So here you can see some of the highlights. That really lovely medium trot that the judge was talking about. And here is that super walk. Really, really nice over track. Really good swing through the body. And the same here in the canter. Lovely and uphill. Just those mistakes pulling that submission mark down, which is a real shame. Scored 8.48 in the qualifying round. 8.38 today. And I'm sure she will be over the moon with that. A great start to this 5-year-old class. So next into the arena, it is the first rider representing Sweden. It's Jenna Hogber and B. Alex. This is a black gelding by Ampere. The dam sire is Dalwhinnie. The Swedish warm blood is owned by Bo Peterson and Eva Peterson. They also bred this horse. In the qualifying round, they were equal 12th with 8.42. So starting their test now for Sweden, Jenna Hogber and B. Alex. Nice suppleness here to start the serpentine. Wonderful elastic trot. Plenty of cadence. Really lovely frame. Can just sometimes come back a little bit behind that vertical line. A good clear difference shown there in the medium. Tracking up beautifully and good clear transitions. Just lost the activity there towards the end of the walk pirouette. Again, super active in this trot. Really nice and fluent through all of the movements, keeping that activity, keeping the rhythm. Again, a wonderful ability to collect. Oh, just lost the rhythm there in the middle of that medium trot. Lovely here into the walk. Really taking that stretch. Tracking up in the walk there. Not the biggest over track. Fairly nice in the activity. Could maybe just have a little bit more purpose. Plenty of air time in this canter. Lots of jump. This test a much bigger test for these horses. Have a lot more counter canter. Keeping the balance lovely around that half 20-meter circle and down that bit of long side. And again, into the walk, really nice and relaxed there, well established. Great difference. Could maybe just be a little bit more uphill there in the medium canter. Yeah, just losing a little bit of the uphill tendency at times in the canter. I'd like to see him be able to take a little bit more weight on the hind leg. Better there. Lost a bit of the fluency in the transition. Again, good rhythm in the trot. Could just have taken that stretch a little bit more out. Good stretching down. Again, you want to see those noses on the vertical line. So that's it, and a lovely halt to finish for Jenna Hogber and B. Alex from Sweden. Big cheers from the crowd and big pats for B. Alex. A really wonderful test there from Jenna. Thought she rode a really good test. The trot for me was definitely the standout. Really lovely and balanced, beautifully uphill, maintained a gorgeous rhythm throughout. Really nice and active. Lots and lots of elasticity. Just at times crept a little bit behind the vertical in the trot and in the canter. And at times I think in the canter just lost a little bit of that uphill tendency. But really good ground cover. The walk was, I think, the least good pace. It was nice and active, took a good stretch, but just lost that ground cover a little bit. For those nines that we saw with the previous horse, it had a really super ground cover and really lovely swing through the body, and that didn't quite come across today for this horse. But now we'll hear from the judge.
Yes, Jenna, we saw a very confident horse, even when he wants to say also something in between the test, but he still stays very good with you. With the trot, we saw a very light-footed and easy-going, just like a clockwork. He goes all the time in the same rhythm and cadence. That was very nice. And especially the medium, he was really nice ground cover, uphill going. Sometimes slightly a little bit more nose in front, but overall the contact stays very nice. 9.2. Yes, that's nice from all the people. The walk was clear, also in the walk period, but we want to see a little bit more freedom and suppleness over the back. 7.8. The canter was very elastic, and he was nice uphill tendency, also good in the counter canters. Sometimes he has a little bit croup high, he can lower his hocks a bit more, but overall, good ground cover and uphill tendency, 8.7. The submission. We saw very nice transitions in the simple changes. Was a small rhythm mistake in the second medium, but you could correct it quickly. And overall, he was very nice in the contact and really with you, 8.5. For the perspective, we see a horse with a positive attitude, very confident with his rider. He's nice, uphill build, and has a great future. 8.7. Thank you.
Total result, ladies and gentlemen, 85.
So a total score there of 85.8% and into the lead. The spectator judging, they had her in the lead as well. 85.545.
Lovely score, 85.8.
And now we can watch some of those highlights. A 9.2 for this lovely trot. Judges agreed that the nose could just be out a little bit more on the vertical line, but a really super rhythm, great elasticity in this trot. And I agree, the trot rhythm is just like that metronome. Really, really super ground cover. A nice here in the canter. Super balance. A really, really good job. Well done by Jenna Hogber. Into the lead with 85.8%.
Another competitor from Sweden, Jessica Thomas.
So now another combination for Sweden. This is Jessica Lynn Thomas. She is riding Maddox Mart. This combination qualified through from the small final. They actually won the small final with 8.72. They were 24th in the first qualifying round with 7.72. This is a Black Stallion by Hennessy out of a Bordeaux 28 mare. This KWPN is bred by C.W. Van Borlen and is owned by Gustad Schwarhoff. These next three combinations, so this one and the next two, are all horse and rider combinations that qualified through from the small final yesterday. The rest directly qualified from the first qualification round on Thursday. So into the arena now is Jessica Lynn Thomas and Maddox Smart from Sweden. Another horse with a lovely uphill frame in the trot. Really beautifully active. Lovely frame here, nice and open in the frame. Looking really soft with a swinging back. Good clear difference shown there in the medium. Just losing a little bit of the connection in the walk pirouette. Good activity and nice steps, but you could see the connection was a little bit unsteady. Be a little bit more supple there, especially to the right. Yeah. A bit more bend through the body to the left. This way is just a little bit tighter. Good ground cover here, really tracking up nicely in the medium. Lengthening that frame as well. And straight away into a good walk. Good rhythm here in the walk. Again, just a little bit snatching in the contact. Good ground cover. Could just offer that rein forward a little bit so the horse can take the stretch a little bit more. Nice balance here in the canter. Again, good uphill tendency. Just came onto the shoulder a little bit there in the transition into the simple change. Definitely lost a bit of the fluency and the connection. Again, a lovely clear difference shown. Plenty of airtime there in the medium canter. Just needs to collect a little bit more into the transition. Yeah, better this time. More direct transitions there in those second simple change. Nice in the stretching. Again, just want to see a little bit more suppleness over the back here in the trot. Just seems to me like he needs to bend more, a little bit more round the rider's inside leg. But a really super job. Big pats there for Maddox Smart. Jessica Lynn Thomas absolutely thrilled with her performance. A really super job. Well ridden there. Some really great work in the trot. As I said, I just feel like on the left rein, she had a little bit more suppleness around her leg. He was just a little bit more willing to bend in that direction than the right. Some really great rhythm, great ground cover, lovely elasticity. The walk, again, the same as the last horse, not this horse's strongest point. Again, the connection just wasn't quite there for me. The canter was really super. That second simple change was really, really nice. Very, very well balanced. I think it's going to be scoring well.
Thank you, Jessica Lynn. We saw a nice black horse with a fluent test. When we talked to the trot, we saw a very elastic one. At the beginning, you were thinking a little bit more support from behind, but during the trot work, it improved. And you also show a good difference from the working to the collected trot. You could see that he kept more active from behind. The flexion to the left is very nice. In the circle, we could ask a little bit more flexion to the right. But overall, very easy going and also nice medium trot. 8.9. The walk. The beginning was good, but he was not always even through his body. Especially at the end, he could be a little bit more supple and easygoing. 7.2. The canter was very light-footed, very good cadence and active. He shows nice ability to collect after the medium. 9.0. The submission. He is nice, steady in the contact. He lost it a little bit in the period walk, but you could correct it immediately. And in the last stretching, we want to show a bit more downwards. But overall, he was nice, steady, uphill with a soft contact as we like. 8.5. For the perspective, we saw nice horse and an easy going, good active from behind with a good future, but we have to go down a little bit for the walk. So that's what our mark will be, 8.5. Thank you.
So a total score there of 84.2 and into second place for Jessica Lynn Thomas and Maddox Mart.
Thomas Archede and Maddox Mart.
A really wonderful test and some lovely comments there from the judges. It's so great that we can hear what the judges are thinking and get some really good constructive feedback to go and work on, as I'm sure we will see a fair few of these horses come forward next year for the 6-year-old classes. The spectator judges rewarded 84.357, very close to the judges' score. Now into the arena, it is a rider for Luxembourg, Matthias Scorins and Fudefunk OLD. It's also the owner of this horse. And this chestnut gelding is by Franciscus. Damsai is Foundation. The breeder is Weighaus Vorwerk, GBR. Lovely Oldenburg gelding. They scored 7.88 in the first qualifying round for 21st place. And yesterday in the small final, they were third with 8.44. So that qualified them through to this final. So into the arena now for Luxembourg. Matthias Scorins and Feed Funk OLD. This horse has a really super active hind leg. Again, great ground cover in the trot work. Lovely in the rhythm. Very elastic. Showing a good clear difference in the medium trot strides. A little bit of tension here in the walk. Some nice steps in the walk pirouette. Just that tension before the walk pirouette, just coming into it. Just needs to watch the balance at times there in the 10-meter circle in the trot. Nice and uphill here in the trot. Tracking up again beautifully in the medium. Yeah, could just take that stretch out a little bit more. Could definitely see more freedom in this extended walk. Just about tracking up. Definitely would like to see more suppleness over the back for those high marks. It's just almost like a little bit of tension's crept in today. Lovely and straight here in the canter. Plenty of cadence. Just watch the balance. Better here. Yeah, just going slightly on the shoulder a little bit there in the end of the canter. Lost a little bit of straightness. You could just see him coming off of the track slightly down that long side. Better here, that's nice. Just needs to keep that pole up. Keep that uphill tendency. Again, maintaining that really active hind leg. Better simple change this time. Lovely direct transitions. Could definitely just take that stretch out a little bit more. You can just see him curling up a little bit in that trot stretch. So coming down the centre line now for the last bit of their test, Matthias Scorins and FEI WBFSH. They were third yesterday, managed to qualify for this final with a score of 8.44. To me, maybe the horse was just a little bit tired after doing its third day in a row. The connection wasn't quite as consistent as we saw the other day for me. A little bit of tension crept in, especially in the walk work. A lovely rhythmical trot, really nice and uphill. Again, it was just that connection for me which just needed stabilising. It was as if the balance was just a tiny bit off today. Let's hear from the judges.
Thank you, Matisse, for showing your horse. We saw a willing horse who was really off the ground today. But overall, sometimes we want to see a little bit more self-carriage and support from behind. And we saw that a little bit back in the contact that could stay a bit more steady and uphill. For the trot, we saw a very dynamic hind leg, and he was very off the ground. But the hind legs could go a bit more under for self-carriage, especially in the medium. And by sometimes he was nice in the contact, but otherwise a little bit more nose in front. 8.3. The walk, the rhythm was clear, but he has a little bit more steady in the contact, that he could stretch in the contact, and he could have more supple over track over the back, that he shows more suppleness and bigger steps. 7.0. The canter had a good rhythm, was active, sometimes really off the ground, but also there in the counter canter, a little bit more jump, uphill, and we want to see a bit more self-carriage. In the medium canter, he really could go forward and also shows nice transition back. It could be a little bit straighter there, but overall nice active. 8.0. The submission, as we said before, the entrance he could go more immobile halt, and he had some tension in the first walk pirouette. We want to see a bit more self-carriage, but he was very willing with you. If you can have a more working and more self-carriage with uphill tendency, it would go better. For today, it's a 7.2. Overall, we saw a willing horse who was really confident with his rider, and he has a good self-carriage. When he gets more power from behind, 7.8. Thank you.
So a total score there of 76.6 into fourth. Some nice comments there from the judges. As I said, for me, I just felt like maybe he was a little bit tired today, because I feel like in the previous test he did have that self-carriage that he was just lacking a little bit today. So it is tough when the horses that have qualified directly through, they obviously had a quiet day yesterday, whereas these three horses did have to compete again. You know, they are still young horses, so can be a little bit of work for them, but a great job, well done and well ridden by Matthias Scorins from Luxembourg.
There will be a break of 20 minutes after the number 8 of the start
So
order.
in now, it's a combination for Spain. It is Manuel Domingig Bernal, and he's riding Galleria's Somerville OLD. This black gelding is by Szechuan, the second out of a diamond hit mare. This Oldenburg is owned by Hanoi Hotels and Resorts Company Limited. The breeder is ZG Schwerdbring GBR. They were 28th in the first qualifier with 7.66. Second yesterday in the small final with 84.8. This is the final horse and rider combination that came through from that small final yesterday. So starting their test now for Spain is Manuel, Domingig, Bernal and Galleria's Somerville OLD. Unfortunately didn't immobilize there in the first halt. That will bring his submission score down. I loved this horse's uphill frame in the trot the other day. And it looks, just a break there in the trot work. That's a real shame. I was just about to say what a lovely, supple serpentine that is. And just that lovely frame stayed consistent throughout. This gelding has such a nice swing over the back in the trot work. Good transitions into the medium trot. Again, just dropped off his leg in that downward transition into the walk. I feel like coming back from the medium, he could have just collected a little bit more before he went into the transition into the walk. Really lovely frame here in the trot. This horse is always in lovely self-carriage. Super steps. Now bring him back. Better. Fairly nice over track in the walk. Good consistent stretching. Again, could just have a little bit more freedom for greater ground cover in the walk. Some nice jump here in the canter. Could just have a little bit more from behind, I feel. Just a little bit straight through the hind leg. Good direct transitions. Good ability to collect here in the canter. Again, clear difference shown in the medium canter. Good balance. Keeping the uphill tendency. I think they may have just lost a bit of the straightness going up into the canter there. And was a little bit long in that downward transition. Yeah, it could just be a bit more nose out in that stretching. Nice going down. Just want to go out and again have that nose on the vertical line. A real shame about those halts at the beginning and the end. But a great job from Manuel Domingig Bernal from Spain, riding Galeria's Somerville OLD. Lovely Szechuan gelding. Again, a really lovely test. I do love this horse's frame. Never tucks its nose behind the vertical. Lost a bit of the rhythm in the trot, especially on the second loop of the Serpentine. But I felt like it was nice and uphill in the trot, some good elasticity. Just needed to, as I said, watch that balance and the rhythm. The walk was really nice. The canter was lovely and uphill. But I think we're going to hear from the judges now.
Okay, Manuel, thank you for presenting your big boy to us. It's really a big horse. It's a nice uphill built horse. Today he has really good contact, but we saw some small things that we put later into submission. It was a pity that the halts, both halts were not immobile enough today. But the trot, it was light-footed. But we want to see more balance from time to time in the front leg. Unfortunately, the first medium, he lost some rhythm, and the second one, it was a little bit better. But overall, when he is more balanced, more clear, then it will be nicer. 7.4. The walk is clear, he's relaxed, but we want to see a little bit more freedom of the shoulders, and end, but shorten your reins. He lost a little bit rhythm, 8.1. The canter has a clear rhythm. It's an uphill tendency, make big jumps, but we want to see more elastic hind legs coming under, 8.3. The submission. He's obedient, you have a light contact. We want to see more immobile halts, and the rhythm in the serpentines and the canters can be a little bit more even, but he made very nice, simple changes and was good straight overall and on the center line. 8.1. The perspective. We saw a nice uphill built horse with good contact. When he can develop more strength, that he can carry himself more, but it's a big boy, so that needs just a bit of more time, then you have a very nice horse. Perspective 7.8. Thank you.
So an overall score there of 79.2 into fourth place there for Manuel Domingig Bernal and Galeria's Somerville OLD for Spain. Some really nice remarks there. Again, I wonder if this horse just feeling a little bit tired from doing the last 2 days of competition. But some really lovely, lovely work. And I echo what the judges said, a really, really nice contact. And I think give a little bit more time as this horse gets stronger, it's going to be back and be even more smart. So next into the arena, it is Alano Grong. And he is riding Sobakos Maud. Our first mare in the arena, this one by a Hasselho Donkey Boy. Dam sire is Wilkins. This Danish warm blood is owned by Norcadina APS and bred by Agnete Homestead. They were equal 12th in the first qualifier with a score of 84.2. They're representing Denmark. So starting their test now, Alano Grong and Sobakahas Maud for Denmark. Again, lovely elasticity in this trot. Good, fairly good suppleness, just losing the rhythm there on that final loop of the serpentine. And again, would like to see that nose out a little bit more on the vertical line. You can see him there in the medium trot, just dropping the pole slightly. Good steps in the medium and a lovely transition back into the walk. A little bit of tension there in the walk and losing a bit of bend through the body, but good steps in the walk pirouette. Going from a really big horse to quite a little one here. And again, just want to see that self-carriage developing a little bit more. You can see there's a bit of an inconsistent contact. And that's where the mistakes just crept in. He just dropped the contact, went into canter there. Careful of the rhythm. A little bit better there towards the end, but again, in those medium trots, not only do you want to see the whole stride lengthen, you also want to see that frame lengthen, and for the pole to be high and for the nose to be out. And unfortunately, that just wasn't the case there, especially at the beginning. And I think that's why he just lost the rhythm and the balance at the beginning. Good activity here in the walk. Some nice steps. Good over track. Again, the same here in the canter. Just want to see a little bit more self-carriage. That's better there. Again, here you can just see him lowering the forehand, losing that uphill tendency. And again, that's why he couldn't quite get that transition down into the walk. The horse just going a little bit on the shoulder, dropping the rein a little bit. And that's when they really need to be sitting to be able to take that weight to come back up into the walk rather than down into the walk. All transitions need to remain uphill, even if they're downward transitions. More on the hind leg here. Yeah, better. Lost a little bit of the straightness, but a much better show of collection there, which meant that he got a better transition. Again, just lost a bit of the fluency coming back to trot. Nice lightness here in the trot. So as they come into their final halt, it is Alano Grong and So Bakerhouse Mod for Denmark. This lovely mare by Hasselho Donkey Boy. Again, another combination where I'd just like to see a bit more self-carriage. You could see the horse just drawing back a little bit, mostly in the trot and the canter. Really, really nice in the walk. Lovely activity, a really good rhythm in the walk. You can see that here now as they finish their test. At times in the canter, just dropping the weight onto the shoulder, losing that uphill tendency. So for me, the canter was definitely the weakest of the three paces today. But overall, a really, really sweet mare. Really willing, listening to the rider. Just needed to develop more self-carriage in the test today. And let that nose out just a little bit more. And again, I think a little bit more time, a little bit more strength, and that will definitely come.
Thank you, Alain, for presenting your very elegant, light-footed mare. Unfortunately, today you had some small misunderstandings and some small hiccups, but overall she looked very light-footed and easygoing. The trot. At the beginning, she was a bit hurried. Later on in the collected, it's get better. But overall, we want to see a little more steady connection, that she stays all the way in the same rhythm and in the same contact. Later on in the trot part, it was much nicer, but she was very easygoing and light-footed, 8.5. The walk was today very good. She had a good rhythm, was nice relaxed, nice stretching, and good overtrack, 9.0. The canter was regular, active, in the beginning a bit high tempo, but in the collected it could be better. In the counter canter she could stay more uphill and more support jumping under on her hind legs, 8.1. For the submission, as I said before, you had some small hiccups in between, some transitions at A and some tension in the both simple changes, but also some nice parts during the test, 7.7. The perspective. We saw a very elegant, easygoing horse. When she gets more steady and relaxed, then it will be, she has a nice future. The perspective is 8.7. Thank you.
So a total score there of 84%. Into third place there for Alano Grong and So Bakerhouse Mod. The spectators had her on 81.486. Also in third place. Don't forget, you can judge along from home as well. Just download the Spectator Judging app. You can give either specific marks for the walk, trot, canter, perspective and submission, just like the judges, or an overall mark. It's up to you. Next to go, it is another combination for Spain. This is Eric Gardia Martinez and Finabella NRW. This bay mare is by First and Ball OLD. Damsire Bordeaux 28. This Westphalian mare is owned by Helga Strand Dressage. Breeder is ZG Artmeier, Becker, Delling and Verbeck. They were equal 6th in the first qualifier, a score of 86.6. So the bell has gone. Just 2 more combinations before our short break. Into the arena now for Spain. Eric Gardia Martinez and Fina Bella NRW. Nice uphill elastic trot. Nice in the rhythm. Could just be a little bit more nose out there in the medium trot. Some good ground cover. Fairly nice there in the walk pirouette. A little bit of tension for the first couple of steps in the walk. Again, at times you can just see there as she came out of that 10-meter circle, just draw back just a little bit of tension in the back, I feel. You can see that she's really soaking up that atmosphere in the arena. I think if she was just a little bit more relaxed, that natural swing could come through a little bit more for those higher marks. And again there, just around there, it just looked a little bit hurried a couple of steps, and that just affects the rhythm slightly. And in situations like that, with the little break, that will of course affect the submission mark. This horse has a really super ground cover. Look at that over track in the walk. Great freedom. Super ground cover, really nice and active. Good rhythm here in the walk. Lost a little bit of activity when he picked up the rein. But that extended walk was, I think, the best that we've seen so far. A mistake there in the counter-canter. Just lost the balance and changed. Just came onto the shoulder a little in the downward transition into the walk for the simple change. Better uphill tendency here. Really elastic in the canter. Good ability to take that weight in the hind leg. can she keep the balance this time in the canter? Again, just coming back a little bit in the contact. Here you can see the rider really working to keep that balance. Better uphill tendency though, and therefore he gets a better transition from her into the walk. Lovely trot steps there in the stretch. So into the final halt now for Gardia, Martinez and Finabella NRW. A lovely first and bull mare. A really, really good job there. Well ridden by Eric. Some really, really super walk today. This mare has got an exceptional walk. Really gorgeous ground cover. Good relaxation. For me, just a little bit quick at times in the trot rhythm. And therefore she just lost the balance. And that's when the mistakes crept in. Just needed to seek a little bit more self-carriage. Just maybe slow down a tad, a little bit quick in the tempo. Some nice work in the canter, especially again in the second half of the canter. That second simple change was really nice when she could really take the weight and sit and get that good transition back into the walk. Some nice uphill moments in the canter work. Plenty of jump. Obviously that mistake in the first canter will bring his submission mark down, but I think actually overall the submission was fairly good. So we just wait for the scores to be confirmed and for us to hear from the judges at sea.
So, thank you, Eric. You presented your horse very well. Unfortunately, we saw some small things, but we come to that later with the submission. For the trot, we saw a very light-footed, easygoing mare, especially very nice, elegant freedom of the shoulder. At the beginning, we saw a bit more engagement from behind through the whole body. And unfortunately, you had a small mistake in the medium, but later on you could correct it quickly, and overall she stays nice, steady in the contact. 8.7. The walk was really highlight today. It was very clear, very active, good over track, and nice relaxed. 9.2. The canter was easygoing, especially the collected canter was very nice. In the medium canter, we want to see a bit more air time and ground cover. And in the counter canter, she could be a bit straighter in going forward, but the contact stays very nice. 8.6. What we said already for the submission, she changed, she had a small mistake, she lost a little bit balance there. But you had also some nice simple changes and very nice walk pirouettes, and the contact, she stays very good. 8.1. For the perspective, we think she's a very light-footed horse, easygoing, and I think it's an exciting horse for the future. Thank you.
And the score,
So a total score there of 86.8, a personal best, and into the lead for Eric Gardia Martinez and Fina Bella NRW for Spain. This lovely first and ball mare straight into an early lead. A really, really super test from Eric. Just one more to go before we go into the break now. The spectator judges rewarded 84.797. They thought that they should have been in second place. But now, last before the break, Leoni Richter and In My Mind. They are representing Germany. This lovely black stallion is by Asgars Ibiza. Damsire is Fiedermark. Another Westphalian and another owned by Helga Strand. The breeder is Franz George Ottoman. They were actually fifth in the first qualifier with a score of 86.8. But Leoni has another ride in this class, so therefore they've come a little bit earlier so that she could have a quick turnaround to get on her other lovely horse later. So now for Germany, Leoni Richter and In My Mind. A nice halt to start. Very eye-catching stallion. Beautifully presented in a lovely uphill manner. Really light. Good engagement here in the medium. Tracking up beautifully. Great ground cover. A lovely transition into the walk. Some nice steps. Lost a little bit of the activity at the beginning of that walk pirouette. I think actually if she'd have walked a little bit earlier, she would have been able to set up the pirouette a little bit better. Just in these circles, the pole's dropping slightly and the nose is just coming a little bit in. You want to keep it on the vertical, and actually the rest of the time it is much nicer in the frame, just in those circles where it's just come down a little bit. Good engagement again there in the medium trot. And again, shows a really good ability to collect. Some pretty good steps here in the walk. Could definitely show more ground cover. Would like to see more freedom. Is not really letting go into that stretch. Just want to see more freedom through the body, through the shoulder especially. A nice rhythm though, but I think that freedom would just encourage better ground cover. Unfortunately just had a change there in the medium canter. Nice uphill tendency in the canter. Keeping that good connection. Lovely transition. Well-established walk, and then again a lovely transition back up into the canter. Nice direct transitions. Super air time there in the medium canter. Again, beautifully uphill. Good rhythm here in the canter too. Super balance. Yeah, two really nice simple changes. A real shame actually about that change in that first medium, because apart from that, I would have thought that actually that would be a really high submission score. It's a pity that that's going to bring it down. And again, there, lovely stretching, taking the nose out and down. I don't know if the judges might say that it could have stretched a little bit more, but I think actually I would rather see the nose on the vertical than see it stretch down more but come back. And a lovely halt to finish with. A great job there from Leoni Richter, and in my mind for Germany, a really super stallion by Asghar Zabitha, owned by Helga Strand. Really, really beautifully ridden there by Leoni. Two gorgeous simple changes. Let down a little bit today by the walk, just needed more freedom, but some really super walk and canter. I would say actually really equally matched in the two. There are the scores, and we just wait to hear from the judges.
Thank you, Leoni. We saw a lot of highlights today, but unfortunately also a big mistake in the medium. He was a bit afraid and running away, but you corrected well afterwards. You have a very nice, good-looking horse. He has a good uphill tendency. The trot, it was today very elastic, nice uphill, but slightly we want to see a little bit developing more from behind for self-carriage. 8.8. The walk. Sometimes it could be more clear on the left side and bigger steps for more ground cover. 7.2. The canter is very active, very uphill, stays nice in the air time, good in the contact, but because of the first medium, we have to go down a little bit in that canter. It could be 8.8. Also the submission. You had a very nice walk pirouette in front of it, but you had that big mistake, so we have to put down a little bit there, and he could be a little more relaxed and in his mouth and more stretching at the end. But the simple changes were very nice. 7.8. Overall, we think for the perspective, you have a very good-looking horse with nice perspective for the future. 8.4. Thank you.
So a combination best there for this partnership, 82%, and into 6th place for Leoni Richter, and in my mind, the audience gave a score of 85.342. They had her in 2nd place. But we go into a short break now. The next combination coming in at 6:10. Out in the lead, we have Eric Gardia Martinez, and he's on a score of 86.8. A huge PB there for Eric. In 2nd place, we have Jenna Hogber and B. Alex on 85.8. And then Jessica Lynn Thomas in bronze medal position with Maddox Mart on 84.2. There you can see the official standings so far of the first 8 to come forward. Another 8 still to go, and it is all to play for. We've got the top 4 coming in the final 4. They start at 10 to 7, but still another 4 to go. Starting at 10 past 6, we have Franka Loo's Lisa Marie Koch, Lena Valdman and Dinja van Leer. Then we go on to the final top 4, Kirsten Brower, Leoni Richter, Frederick Vondre and Victoria E. Valentin. She's last to go at 20 past 7. So make sure you join us back at 10 past 6 local time for the final 8 combinations as we decide who is going to be our new 5-year-old world champion.
5 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen, and the next start in the Longines final for 5-year-old horses. Here to Longines FEI WBFSH World Breeding Dressage Championships for young horses. Longines is proud to be the official partner, official timekeeper, and official watch of the 2022 Longines FEI WBFSH World Breeding Dressage Championship for young horses. Longines' passion for equestrian sport dates back to 1869, and today the brand is involved in the most beautiful equestrian events all over the world. The official watch of the event is the new Longines Dolce Vita IV. Swiss designer Yvonne Reichmuth has given the famously timepieces a new identity with sophisticated leather straps referring to the equestrian world. Longines. In the lead, final Bernal and Eric Gardia Martinez with a result of 86.8. Second now from Sweden, Jenna Hogber, B. Alex, score 85.8. Third for Sweden, Jeskalin Thomas, Maddox Marts, KWBN. The score 84.2. At the fourth place for Denmark, Ellen Uxdorkun, with a score of 84%. And fifth from Germany, Charlotte Maria Sherman, lifetime 83.8. The result. Take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. 3 minutes, then the next starter. After the last rider, we have the presentation of Glamourdale and Hermes. And after the presentation of these two superstars, we will have the prize-giving ceremony. Prize-giving ceremony for the 8 best placed horses and riders. And the breeders and owners, if they are present here today, of the horses at the places 1, 2 and 3, are invited to join us at the prize-giving ceremony. So I repeat, after the last rider we have a presentation of Glamourdale and Hermes, then the prize-giving ceremony, and we need the breeders and the owners of the first 3 placed horses in the arena for the prize-giving.
Hello and welcome back to part 2 of this Longines final for 5-year-old horses. We have 8 more combinations left to come into the arena, but out in front at the moment in gold medal position it is Eric Gardia Martinez, and he is on 86.8% riding Finabella NRW. But first into the arena after the break it is the Netherlands' Franka Loo, and she is riding Raccoon, a black stallion, side by Hero. Damsire is De Niro. This Belgian warm blood is owned and bred by Arjen Beckers. This combination scored 85.8 in the qualifying round for 9th place. So in for their test now is Franka Loo and Raccoon for the Netherlands. Very elastic horse in the trot work, good rhythm. Could just have a bit more from behind, I feel, in this trot work. Very, very expressive in front, just needs a bit more from the hind leg. Tracking up nicely in the medium trot, showing a good, clear difference. Ooh, a little jog there in the walk. Pretty good activity in the walk pirouette. It was a little larger than the others that we've seen today. Nice suppleness through that change of rein. Good in the self-carriage. Lovely there in the frame in the medium trot. Good transition to the walk. Some fairly good ground cover. Could have a bit more swing in the back in the walk. Good relaxation. Yeah, nice uphill tendency in the canter work. Lovely transition. A well-established walk. Yeah, great power there in the canter. Super cadence. Really lovely harmonious picture between this combination. This horse looks nice and easy going. Looks a pleasure to ride. Really well presented test as well from Franka. Again, great rhythm here in this trot. Lots of elevation. As I said, really good self-carriage. So coming into their final halt now, Franka Loo and Raccoon for the Netherlands. A huge round of applause. This horse looking so relaxed in the arena. Really, really easygoing. Really on the aids, listening to the rider the whole time. So I would have thought a really high submission, sorry, not suspension, but good suspension. I think especially in the canter work, really lovely and uphill. Really nice and uphill also in the trot work. Great rhythm throughout all 3 paces. The trot work was really super, really nice and soft. I felt like he could have just had compared to some of the other horses we've seen, I think he could have a little bit more push from behind in the trot, but I think that will come. But let's listen to what the judges have to say.
Who's gonna be the world champion today?
And we have a new leader, 88.2.
Thank you, Franka. You showed your raccoon in a very nice frame today. He has a very nice, elegant contact, always with the nose in front, and he was easy going. The trot was very elastic and supple, nice freedom of shoulders. In the medium, sometimes you want to see a little bit more push from behind. And one circle can bend a little more, but the other one was very nice. But all the way he was nice with the nose in front and uphill tendency. 9.0. The walk was clear, good stretch, but could be more supple over the back. 8.5. The canter was also good uphill, but we saw some small difference in the left and the right canter, and by time he could be a little bit more supple over the back. 8.6. The submission, what I already said before, he had very nice contact, always in a good frame, nose in front. The walk pirouette, the technique was good, but was very large, and but nice transitions. So we give a 9.0. For the perspectives, you had a really lovely, elegant mover. He's very willing to work and always stays in a very nice frame, nose in front. You presented him very well. Thank you, and we give you a 9.0.
So, as I said, a new leader, 88.2, and into gold medal position there for Franka Loo and Raccoon for the Netherlands. I have to echo what they said. It's a really, really lovely partnership, and I just love the self-carriage that this partnership had. Always up, always pole at the highest point, the nose forward. A really, really good job there. Well ridden by Franka. So now the score to beat, 88.2. Spectators also had her in the lead, 86.468. Into the arena now, though, it is another rider for Germany, Leoni Richter. This is Philidor OLD, a bay mare by Blue Horse Saint Chufro. Dam Sire is Fiedertanz 2. Owner is Manuel Sigurdsbond. Also the breeder as well. They were 8th in the first qualifier with 86.2. Into the arena now for Germany, Leoni Richter and Philidor OLD. A good start for Leoni. Nice still square halt. Always leaves a really good first impression. If they can get a good first centre line. Nice suppleness there in the serpentine. Again, good frame with the pole up. Nicely over tracking in the medium trot. Good ground cover. Nice there in the pirouette. Maybe just be a little bit more supple in these turns. Yeah, especially in the second half of the circles, actually. Started that second 10-meter circle really nicely with good bending of the body. And then just got a little bit tighter as the circle went on. Again, another combination with a great connection. That nose always out, the pole always up. The horse maybe not quite as expressive as the last horse that we saw, but lovely and active in its way of going. Oh, look at that overtrack. Really super overtrack, lovely stretching. Great rhythm in the walk. Nice swing over the back. Just came back at her a little bit in the collected walk before she picked up the canter. But the actual extended walk I thought was really nice. Again there, just a little tighten over the back in that medium canter down the long side. Just would like to see a little bit more swing. Oh, just lost the balance there into the walk transition. Nice and uphill there into the canter again after the simple change. Could just have maybe a little bit more air time. A little bit more uphill tendency in the canter work. Really good balance here though in the counter canter. Well established walk. And again, the horse just drawing back a little bit in the transition going up into the canter. Again, just overall, I feel the horse could just be a little bit more supple over the back. Nice stretching here. So coming into the final halt, it is Lisa Marie Koch and Vildior OLD for Germany.
Launching final for 5-year-old horses.
A really lovely test there. For me, the walk was the standout. What a huge, huge overtrack. Very, very smart. Lovely swing over the back.
In the lead now, Franka Loo.
just at times in the trot, I'd just like to see a little bit more expression, a little bit more of an uphill tendency, and the same in the canter, a bit more self-carriage, I think. Let's hear from the judges.
Thank you, Lisa Marie, for presenting your horse. We saw a nice test, and I think you show him in a very positive way. He's a really well-educated horse, easygoing, with a good hind leg. In the trot, we saw the very good hind leg, and also the same in the circle, steady in the balance. But for the medium, he's slightly wide behind. He needs a little bit more balanced and sometimes more freedom of the shoulder. 8.1. The walk was good, relaxed in rhythm, with good overtrack. But also there, time by times, more freedom of the shoulder, but he stays very easy in the contact. 8.8. The canter is active and he has a good balance. But there we want to see more freedom of the shoulder, and in the medium canter, more ground cover and more uphill tendency. 8.4. For the submission, we said before, he's well educated, nice contact. We want to see a little bit straightness. You have a little bit too much flexion in the counter canters and in the right canter, that it can be a bit straighter. And the second simple change was a little bit hesitating out, but overall very good. 8.6. For the perspective, he's a well-educated horse, easygoing, very good hind leg, and he really has ability to collect, and for there a good future. 8.7. Thank you.
So a total score there of 85.2, and into fourth place. The spectator judging app says 83.136, and into sixth. So just outside the top three. Into the arena now. It is another combination for Germany. This time it is Lena Valdman, and she is riding Celine OLD. This black mare, the stallion, is Grosvenor, and the dam sire, Saint Amour. This Oldenburg is owned by Gisela. The breeder is Gusted Meyenberg and Lau. They were equal sixth in the first qualifier with a score of 86.6. They were actually equal sixth with Eric Gardia Martinez, who was in the lead a little while ago before Franka Loo's, with 86.8. So we can expect a really nice score from this partnership. So into the arena now for Germany, Lena Valdman and Celine OLD. Not immobilizing there in the initial halt. What I loved about this horse the other day in the first qualifier was how much cadence, how much suspension was in this trot. She looks like she's got springs on her hooves. And again, that's just going to lend itself so well to that Piaffe Passage work later on in this horse's career. Good ground cover in the medium. Nice activity there in the walk pirouette. Again, nice in the contact. This horse really, really supple over the back, supple through the body. Showing good bend through those serpentines, through those circles. Really lovely there down that short side. Again, another mare with a really super walk. Lovely freedom of the shoulder. Super ground cover. Lovely purpose. Really good stretching. That's a really super walk. Very nice. The rhythm didn't change when she picked up the rein, and a lovely direct transition into the canter. Good balance here in the canter. Again, maintaining that lovely frame. Super transitions there in the simple change. Lovely and elastic in the canter. Nice and straight. Balance not quite so good this way. Could just see Lena really working to get that balance on that half 20-meter circle. Lovely transitions. Good stretching. She just looks like a lovely bouncy ball and just has such a wonderful connection to the bridle from that hind leg and looks so much fun to ride. A really wonderful, wonderful job there from Lena Valdman for Germany riding Scheerselien OLD. She is absolutely over the moon. Look at that big smile. Really, really super trot and walk work today. That walk is absolutely spectacular. That should be picking up some really, really high marks. The canter doesn't quite match the trot and the walk work. Just feel it needs a little bit more of an uphill tendency. But overall, a really, really super horse. A shame about that first halt, just stepping back. That will unfortunately bring the submission down on what otherwise was a really, really super test. I thought overall they did a really grand job. That trot and that walk, though, as I said, that trotty, she just looks like a really lovely bouncy ball. So much power there, but lovely freedom of the shoulder in the trot. equally matched by that hind leg. I think, again, give it time. That medium trot's going to get better. But let's just hear from the judges.
Thank you, Lena. You showed us a very nice test, especially in the trot. The trot was very well off the ground. He has a very good cadence, and every step is the same. The medium, the first, he lost a little bit the balance, and the second one, maybe it's a bit conservative. You get a little bit more swinging there and going forward. But overall, so every step the same, very nice in the cadence, 9.0. The walk is very clear, active and good stretching, 9.5. The canter, also active with good hind leg and has a natural cadence going there, but in the counter canter, the second one, he lost some balance, and for both counter canters, we want to see a little bit more suppleness and more uphill jump, 8.2. For the submission, unfortunately, the first hold, he was stepping back, so we have to take that, and he can be a little bit going forward in the extensions, but overall, nice contact and easy going, 8.3. For the perspective, I think it's a very interesting horse for the future, with this very good hind leg, and we give him an 8.9. Thank you.
So an overall score there of 87.8, a personal best, and into silver medal position at the moment. A really super job there from Lena Valdman and Jesseline Old into silver medal position with just 5 more combinations to go. Great to see lots of personal bests, lots of combination bests.
Then we have the prize giving ceremony for the best 3 horses. In this World Championship, we need the owners and the breeders in the arena for the prize.
Next in the arena, it is Dinja van Leer, and she is riding Maro Tafhorst for the Netherlands. This black stallion is by Zonic NOP, Damsire Negro, KWPN bred by Grieve, owned by Rinzik Horses BV and Stojik Turfhorst.
For the quarter of the Netherlands, Dinja van Leer, Maro Turfhorst.
They were 9th in the first qualifier with 85.8. In the arena now for the Netherlands, Dinja van Leer and Maro Tafhorst. Plenty of elasticity, again, good freedom in the shoulder in this trot. Good ground cover in the medium trot, maintaining that rhythm. Oh dear. Just a bit of tension there in the walk pirouette. Good balance in the 10-meter circle. Really nice there in the medium. Again, a lovely connection. Good relaxation here in the walk. Could just stretch that nose out a little bit more. Better there. The walk could definitely have more freedom for the higher marks. Obviously, the horse we saw beforehand scoring incredibly well for its walk. This one not quite the same in comparison, but still good in the rhythm, nice in the stretching, good purpose in the walk. Oh, some mistakes there in the counter-canter. Well recovered, good riding from Dinya. Beautiful transition in the walk. Good air time in the extended canter there. Plenty of power. Lovely self-carriage here in this canter work. Yeah, we'd just like to see that nose come out more in the stretching. Good, stretching down. Really lovely and forward and active in the trot work. And there we have it for Dinya van Leer and Mauro Tofhorst for the Netherlands. A really lovely stallion there by Zonic.
For the quota of the Netherlands.
Big pats and kisses from Dinya. Dinya, obviously our bronze medalist from the World Championships in herding a few weeks ago, riding Hermes. A very successful stallion. He will be paraded actually after the final rider in this class alongside Glamourdale, our gold medal winning world champion. So we just wait and hear from the judges.
Thank you, Dinya, for presenting your charming horse today to us. We saw in the trot a very nice entrance, very nice straight coming forward to us. The trot has a nice swing with very good freedoms of shoulders. Sometimes you want to have a little bit more engagement from behind at times, especially in the mediums. 8.4 for the trot. The walk was relaxed, very relaxed, clear, sometimes a little more active and a little bit more freedom of the shoulders. 8.6. The canter was clear, had a nice uphill tendency, he was nice through the body. Unfortunately, he changed in the first counter canter, so we have to keep that a little in mind. 8.7. For the submission, unfortunately, he lost one step in the walk pirouette and the counter canter, and times by times we want to have a little bit more the nose in front, but nice simple changes. 8.0. For the perspective, we saw a beautiful horse willing to work, very concentrated on the rider. Times by time, when he developed more strength from behind, you can go for higher marks. For today, an 8.6. Thank you.
A total score there of 84.6, a combination best, and that puts them into 6th place. The audience rewards 85.962. That would be enough to put them in 3rd. But into 6th there for Dinja van Leer and Maro Tafhorst. So just 4 more combinations to come forward, and it is our top 4 from the first qualifier. So we could have a real mix-up of the leaderboard now. Out in front at the moment is Franka Loo and Raccoon for the Netherlands. They're in gold medal position with 88.2. In silver medal position is Lena Valdman, 87.8. She's riding Celine OLD. And then in bronze medal position is Eric Gardia Martinez and Finabella NRW on 86.8. So they're the scores to beat if you want to get into the medals. But in the arena now, it's another rider for the Netherlands. This time, Kirsten Brower. She is riding My Precious. A lovely mare by Ferguson. Damsire Vivaldi. This KWPN is bred by Villares, owned by Kirsten herself. I really loved this mare in the qualifying round. Let's see what she can do today. They scored 87 in the qualifying round for 4th place. They have to do better than that today to take the lead. So in now for the Netherlands, Kirsten Brower and My Precious. Super uphill tendency in this trot work. Really good in the hind leg. Super freedom of the shoulder. Just a really nice overall frame. Great ground cover in the medium. That stride just getting longer. And good transition into the walk. Pretty good activity. Was a little on the large side in that walk pirouette. Keeping that lovely uphill frame in the circles. straight into a lovely relaxed walk. Good over track. Again, not the biggest over track we've seen today, but a lovely stretch. Could have a little bit more freedom through the shoulder. Good activity and maintaining the rhythm of the walk the whole way through. Great jump, lovely suspension in this canter work. Super uphill tendency. Really good simple change. Maintaining that lovely active hind leg in this canter work. She has such a wonderful ability to really collect and sit in the canter. Just needs to watch the straightness there. That was slightly quarters leading, almost verging on half pass there across the diagonal. Just needs to keep the horse straight, keep those hind legs underneath her. Just dropped her slightly in that trot transition at A. Well recovered though from Kirsten. And lovely in the stretch. Really, really super. Keeping that rhythm, really taking the nose out and down. You can see the sea of orange supporters there on the sidelines. A super job there from Kirsten Brower and My Precious. The crowd are going wild. What a gorgeous, gorgeous mare. I fell in love with this partnership the other day in the qualification round, and they've done it again. A really, really super test. That trot just is absolutely gorgeous. I just love how uphill it is. Such a lovely, consistent rhythm. A great hind leg. Really, really gorgeous overall perspective. I think it's going to be in for a good score. Is it enough to take the lead? Let's find out what the judges have to say.
Dit zijn van die spannende momenten.
Thank you, Kirsten, for presenting your very elegant, lovely horse. She's very light-footed, easygoing, always willing to go with you. But only today, a little bit Straightness in the canter, but we come later for that. The trot, so light-footed, very active, always coming from behind and elastic. Good medium, sometimes a little bit more steady contact in some circles, but overall, very nice. 9.3. The walk is very clear, good active, a bit more over track for a higher mark, 8.8. The canter is uphill, elastic, light-footed, and she has a nice ability to collect, what we see in the simple changes. But for today, you had some tension in the counter canter. You had to help her. She could be more straight there. She was almost a little bit travers going, so we have to keep that a little bit in mind. 8.6. And that's the same for the submission. A little bit more straightness in the counter canter, more balanced over there. And the contact times by times in the trot in the canter was better, 8.5. But for perspective, we think you have a great horse for the future. She has everything in all three gaits, is so easygoing, light-footed, and a lot of talent. So we love to give her a 9.2. Thank you.
Great job there, and she's into the lead, 88.8, and into gold medal position there for Kirsten Brower and My Precious. The Dutch are going wild. A fantastic result there for Kirsten Brower. Into the lead, 88.8% for this super mare. That's a combination best for them. What a place to do it. But now we move on to the top three from the first qualifier. We've seen her already today. It is Leoni Richter again. This time she rides the Stallion by Vitalis. This is Vitalos. Damside De Niro. The owner is Helgestrand and Chocamo. The breeder is Joseph Bramlage. They were second in the first qualifier. They actually held the lead for quite a way until the final combination came in. They scored 88.6. They are going to have to do better than that today to take the lead. The lead is on 88.8, silver 88.2. So into the arena now for Germany. It is once again Leoni Richter and Vitalos. Their best score in this test is 87. That wouldn't get them into the medals. This horse again, really lovely in the connection from the hind leg. Super engagement. Lovely freedom of the shoulder. The ground cover really is exceptional. A wonderful ability to collect. Kept the activity going nicely in the walk pirouette. And then back into this lovely rhythmical trot. So much suspension, lovely and supple round the 10-meter circle. This horse has such a softness and a lightness about him. Again, great engagement, especially in these medium trots. Really super trot. And straight away a relaxed walk. Lovely stretching. Good purpose and activity. Nice clear rhythm. I think for the higher marks they'll want to see some more ground cover. Again, straight away up into a lovely canter, really good rhythm. Super uphill tendencies. Good air time. A nice balance here in the canter. This horse is just in the most lovely self-carriage, maintaining that engagement throughout. Lovely ability to collect. And again, that frame just not changing no matter what she asks of him. Lovely and straight in the canter work. Again, everything looking so easy. Lovely stretching. Again, showing that super trot. Just such great engagement. Lovely, soft, great swing over the back. The audience are loving it. Clapping her down the center line. And there she is, a standing ovation from the crowd. A great job there from Leoni Richter and Vitalos. A really, really super job. Has she done enough to take the lead? That trot was absolutely sensational. Really lovely and soft and swinging. A really, really super job. I think at times the canter could have had a little bit more engagement from behind into a bit more of an uphill tendency, especially in the canter. But what a spectacular horse. Just looking so harmonious, so easy, so regular in the rhythm. But I just can't get over that trot. It was truly, truly special. Let's hear from the judges. The crowd still applauding. Has she done enough to go in the lead? Has she done enough to take home a medal today? If she goes into the lead, she's guaranteed a medal. And let's hear from the judge.
Yes, a well-deserved applause for you, Leoni. It was a nice test. You have a very powerful horse, very willing to work, always stays beautiful uphill in the contact. For the trots, what I already said, very uphill, powerful, very supple, always coming from behind. Sometimes we put it also later in submission, a little tilted in the corners, but very good power. 9.8. For the walk, he has a good rhythm, good stretch. At times a little bit more supple over the back. 8.5. The canter is uphill active, but in the counter canter and in the collection, the hind legs could jump a little bit more under in the collection. More clear jump under. 8.6. But the submission, what always said before, nice contact, good uphill tendency, a little bit we have to keep in mind the tilt in it in the counters, but nice stretching, very good simple changes, 9.0. And overall we think you have a very powerful horse with good ability collect and a very good future in head, 9.4. Thank you.
And she's into the lead, and she is guaranteed a medal today. 90.6, a personal best, and into gold medal position there for Leoni Richter and the lovely stallion Vitalos. The crowd are pumped. They are absolutely loving this combination, and as are we. Very, very well done to Leoni. A great, great job, well ridden. The audience rewarded 91.386, also agreed that she should be in the lead. So just 2 more combinations to come. And next, it was our winner of the qualifying round. So Leoni guaranteed a medal, at least a bronze at the moment. She's in gold medal position. But what are the next 2 combinations going to bring forward? So this, the leader of the qualifying round on 89%. It is Germany's Frederick Vondre and Fashion Prince OLD. A first romancier stallion, dam sire of Storozzi. This Oldenburg is owned by Hofkasselmann. The horse is bred by Gusted Luiz. So if he scores the same as he did in the qualifying round, that would be enough to put him into silver medal position. He has got 90.6 to beat to take the gold. So into the arena now for Germany, Frederick Vondre and Fashion Prince OLD. Again, this horse, like Vitalos, plenty of power, plenty of elasticity. Just for me at times in the qualifying round, he just crept a little back in the contact. His nose was coming back a little bit. Seems better today. Just lost the balance at F there coming into the medium. Lovely ground cover there in the medium trot. Ooh, needs to watch the rhythm in the walk coming into that walk pirouette. Better coming out. Maintained the activity beautifully. Lovely and supple round the 10-meter circle. do with a little bit more bend here to the right. Yeah, just at times, just not being able to maintain that stable connection in the trot work. The overall picture for me, actually, though, I think it's better than it was in the qualifying round because his nose is a bit more out than it was then. But it just doesn't have that same connection that we saw from Vitalos. Super ground cover here, though, in the walk. Really, really lovely stretching. Great swing through the body. Yeah, that's very smart. That should be a good score for the walk. Great regular rhythm. Really, really huge over track. Little bit of a head tilt there in the canter. Slightly modest in the medium canter down the long side. Lovely uphill tendency though. Ooh. Lost a bit of the activity coming back at E. Better this time in the medium canter. Nice and uphill. Plenty of air time in the canter. Just coming a little bit onto the shoulder in those downward transitions into the walk. And lost the fluency again there into the trot transition. So as they come down the final centre line, it is Frederick Vondre and Fashion Prince OLD for Germany.
From Germany, Frederick.
A really well presented test there from Frederick. He has so much experience. A really super stallion. For me, he's got three fantastic paces, don't get me wrong. I mean, that walk is just sensational. The test just didn't have the fluency that Vitalos has had. At times, the trot was just a little bit inconsistent, I feel, in the connection. I think this horse's walk is better. For me, I feel the trot was nicer in Vitalos. It's going to be very interesting to see which one comes out on top. A really, really super job. Well ridden by Frederick. The canter was better from this horse. It really could be anybody's. I wouldn't like to call it. Each one's strengths was the other's weakness. For me, the whole picture generally just looked more fluent with Vitalos's test. And so therefore, for me, that would be the higher placed combination. But who knows? Let's see what the judges have to say. I think it's going to be tight.
thank you, Frederick, presenting you really big boy fashion prints. About the trot, we saw a very swinging, well-balanced trot, but also a very good medium. So really big difference. At times, by times, a little bit more self-carriage in the small voltes, 9.3. The walk is clear, big steps, good overtrack, 9.7. The canter, he make really good jumps. He's very active from behind and has good ground cover in the medium. At times, by time, he has a little bit group high and could stay more uphill in the counter canter, 8.4. For the submission, the walk pirouette could stay a little bit more clearer out, and the simple changes could be more fluent forward off, but overall steady contact, if you could keep him nice uphill there, 8.4. But for perspective, we think it's a really wonderful horse. I can know that he's fashion prince. When he develops more strength from behind with his big boy, then he can only improve more and more. But for today, we gave him a 9.2 for perspective. Thank you.
So it's into silver medal position with 90% there for Frederick Vondre and Fashion Prince OLD. Again, they are guaranteed at least a bronze medal. So that guarantees Leoni Richter and Vitalos at least a silver medal. The score to beat 90.6 from Leoni Richter and Vitalos. Frederick Vondre in silver with Fashion Prince OLD on 90%. And Kirsten Brower in bronze medal position with My Precious on 88.8. One more combination to come forward. And what can they do? Is it best till last?
Third now, My Precious.
It was very, very close in the qualifying rounds. Literally just 0.08% in it. So into the arena now, it is Denmark's Victoria E. Valentin and Lingeberg's St. Paris. This dark blame mare is by Blue Horse Saint Chanfreux. The Dam Sire Blue Horse Rockefeller. This Danish warm blood is owned by United Dressage AS and Valentin Dressage IS. The breeder is Bent Borgesson. The final combination now in this 5-year-old World Championships. Who is going to take home the gold medal? Is it going to be Leoni Richter and Vitalis, or is it going to be Victoria Valentin and Lindeberg's St. Paris? What can this young lady do? So coming down the centre line, it is Victoria Valentin and Lindberg's St. Paris for Denmark. This rider only 24 years of age. So this combined age is only 29. Again, I really enjoyed watching this partnership in the first qualifier. Beautifully supple through the serpentine. Fantastic engagement. Look at that ground cover in the medium. Wonderful connection to the bridle. Really nice and soft over the back, keeping the swing. A little bit tense there into the walk pirouette. Just losing a little bit better here in the second half of that 10-meter circle. Just lost a bit of the balance halfway through. Such a wonderful hind leg. Much better there to the right. A wonderful picture. So much elasticity, so much freedom in the trot. Wonderful swing. Nicely into the walk. Good relaxation. Could just take that nose out just a couple more inches. Good clear rhythm. Again, I think the judges will want to see more ground cover. A bit the same as Vitalos earlier. A good quality walk, but just not quite the overtrack that you would want to see for the nines. Wonderful there in the medium canter. Great engagement, really active from the hind leg, giving them a lovely uphill frame. Maintaining that through the counter canter. Lots of air time. Could have been slightly more direct into the walk for the simple change. And again, really nice into the medium canter. Good balance in the counter canter. Again, really super engagement. Can she get a more direct transition this time into the simple change? No. Oh, that's such a pity. And again into that really lovely trot. Super stretching. Maintaining that wonderful rhythm in the trot. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so tight. Has she done enough? The audience are clapping again. It is our final rider. She's got a big smile on her face. It is Denmark's Victoria Valentin riding Lindbergh St. Paris. What a wonderful young rider, just 24 years old, riding this lovely 5-year-old mare. Did we save the best till last? Really, really super trot and canter work. That trot is just sensational. Really off the ground, so light, so uphill throughout. Just the walk could have had a little bit more ground cover. Oh gosh, it's so close to call. Has she done enough? I think she might be in the medals, but what colour is it going to be?
Who's going to be the world champion?
Is she going to be our new world champion? Let's hear from the judges.
What's going to be the score, ladies and gentlemen? We listen to Monique Pers.
And she's done it. She's won the gold. She is our new world champion.
Thank you, Victoria, for this beautiful test. We really loved it. We saw a lot of elegance through the whole test with a nice contact. Some small things I come back later in the submission. But first we start with the trot. So light-footed, very elegant, always coming from behind. Only thing, the medium was slightly hurried, but coming back into the transitions was really beautiful, 9.5. The walk was clear, good active, but we would see a bit more freedoms of the shoulders and over track, 8.5. The canter was uphill, always coming from behind. Times by times a bit more the nose in front, and the medium could have a bit more ground cover, but there she shows the ability to collect the transitions back, 9.3. For the submission, unfortunately, both simple changes could be more fluent and more direct move off, but she stays very relaxed with a nice contact, and we saw that she's always willing to work together with you, 8.8. But then, overall, the perspective, we think it's a lovely, elegant, light-footed horse with an amazing good hind leg, always coming, always willing together with you, so we think she has a great future in front of her, 9.5. Thank you.
She's done it, our new world champion, Victoria E. Valentin and Lindbergh's St. Paris. And the crowd are over the moon. Victoria has got a huge smile on her face. She can't believe it. From third in the qualifying round, 91.2. A standing ovation for our wonderful young rider, Victoria E. Valentin and Lindbergh St. Paris, our new 5-year-old world champion. What a horse. What a rider. A combined age of just 29 years old between this horse and rider. Absolutely fantastic partnership, and I can only echo what the judges said. A really, really exciting prospect for the future. I cannot wait to see more from this horse and rider partnership. So let's run through the medals. It is Victoria E. Valentin and Lindbergh St. Paris, our new world champion, 91.2%. Leoni Richter and Vitalos are silver medalists on a whopping 90.6. And Frederick Vondre are bronze medalists with Fashion Prince OLD 90%. three huge scores from our medalists. Kirsten Brower and My Precious into fourth, 88.8. Franka Loo from the Netherlands and Raccoon, 88.2. Lena Valdman and Celine OLD from Germany, 87.8. Eric Gardia Martinez, 86.8. Jenna Hogber, 85.8 with B. Alex. Lisa Marie Koch, 85.2. And Dinja van Leer finalising that top 10 with 84.6. Some incredible performances from these horse and rider combinations. But now we have a presentation of Glamourdale and Hermes. I will leave you to enjoy the rest of the show, but a huge congratulations to our new world champion, Victoria E. Valentin and Lindbergh's St. Paris for the 5-year-olds. We will be back tomorrow for the 7-year-old finals at 9 a.m, the Grand Prix freestyle at 12:30, and the 6-year-old final at 2:45. But enjoy this demonstration from Lottie Fry and Glamourdale and Dinja van Leer and Hermes. That's it from me, Natasha Baker. Good night.
KWPN Stallions, Glamourdale and Hermes played a leading role during the World Championship in Henning. The Black Powerhouse Glamourdale left the World Championship with 2 individual gold medals, and at the same time the KWPN Stallion with Lottie Fry made an important contribution to the British Silver Team medal. Hermes did the same trick with the Dutch Dinja van Leer, taking 2 bronze medals home with them. The achievement was extra special because both stallions did exactly the same 4 years ago here at the Longines FEI WBFSH Dressage World Breeding Championship for young horses. Glamourdale by Lontero del Negro, the breeder, Mr. Lodeberg, won gold as he was a 7-year-old horse. And the 6-year-old Hermes, Easy Game by Fleming, bred by K. Gijsbers, took the 3rd place. This makes the Longines FEI WBFSH Dressage World Breeding Championships for young horses a perfect stepping stone towards the International Grand Prix. Gardia, Glamourdale, Hermes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Glamadale, Lottie Fry, Hermes, Jenna van Lieren. The best that we can offer you today. Strand erop stellen. We hebben prachtige dekens voor beide paarden. Terwijl de dekens zo dadelijk worden opgelegd. Prachtige beelden op het scherm van Longines. Kijk naar de beelden. We blikken nog even terug. World Champion Glamadale. Two bronze medals for Hermes, Jenna van Lieren. And now we invite the owners and the breeders. Glamadale, owned by Gert-Jan and Anne van Holst. Hermes, owned by Joop en Renate van Uiten, Jolanda and Elina Anker. The breeder of Glamadale, the familie Rodenburg, and the breeder of Hermes, familie Gijsbus. Ladies and gentlemen, breeder premiums are awarded to these KWPN stallions from the Friends of the KWPN Foundation. Breeders of Glamadale, the Rodenburg family, receive a breeder's premium of €3,000 for the winning first place of Glamadale at the World Championship Henning. And the breeders of Hermes, the Gijsbus family, will also receive a breeder's premium of €1,000 for the third place achieved by Hermes at the World Championships in Henning. Friends of the KWPN Foundation support the KWPN breeders through these breeders' premiums. Andries van Dalen hands out the breeders' premiums on behalf of the Friends of the KWPN Foundation. And on behalf of the Longines FEI WBFSH Dressage World Breeding Championship for Young Horses, Mr. Abbott, President of the Board, congratulates the breeder, the owner, the rider, and hands out flowers to the breeders and owners and a present to the riders. Glamadale, Lottie Fry, Hermes, Jenna van Lieren. Welcome back. It started all here. Prachtig om te zien. De mensen achter deze paarden. Zijt Glamadale in bezit van Gert-Jan en Anne van Holst. Gefokt bij de familie Rodenburg. Hermes in bezit van Joop en Renate van Uiterten. Jolanda en Elina Anker zijn hier. gefokt bij de familie Gijsbers. Nou, met tal van presentjes nog die uitgereikt worden. Prachtig moment. Plaatjes worden gemaakt. A special moment. Andries van Dalen, een aanbod complimenteren de mensen achter deze toppaarden, deze superstars. Wat dat betreft vandaag. Maar die momenten van zo even. Met de beslissing in dat wereldkampioenschap. En daarna deze twee geweldige paarden. Een dag om niet te vergeten. There they are, the owners, the breeders of Hermes. Ik zie ook de kleine Geert Gijsbers, ook die heeft een presentje gekregen. Zit daar te genieten. Nou, fotografen krijgen alle kans om dit vast te leggen, dames en heren. Dit bijzonder unieke moment. En dan zullen de eigenaren en fokkers terug gaan treden. Om nog één keer te genieten tijdens de eerronde van Glamourdale, the world champion with Lottie Fry, MS 2 bronze medals with Dinja van Lier. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a standing ovation for these superstars. Welcome back here in Ermelo. Jenna. Can't hear you, ladies and gentlemen. I can't hear you. This is special. This is the best of the best that the Royal Dutch Sport Horse can present you. Glamourdale, MS. Look at that. Look at that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Next to each other, ladies and gentlemen, MS Glamourdale. Special for you, the wonderful audience here in Ermelo. Thank you very much, Lottie Fry, Dinja van Lier. Thank you very much, Glamourdale, MS. And now the prize giving ceremony. We need the breeders and owners of Lumière St. Paris, Bente Burgerson, United Dressage, Valentin Dressage, the owners and breeders of Vitalos, Joseph Bramlage, breeder, the owners Helsland and Schokkermude, and the owners and breeders of Fashion Prince, also Schokkermude, Gestuut-Lewitz, and the owner of Kastelman for the prize giving ceremony. Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. Don't leave before the prize giving ceremony. Prize giving ceremony, launching final for 5-year-old horses at place number 8 from Sweden. Jenna Hogber and B. Alex by Ampere Dalwini, Swedish Wandut. The breeders Evan Bob Pettersson and the new owner Vesla Hobby Stuttery Hennigs Horses. Jenna Hogber, B. Alex at the 8th position in his World Championship. At position number 7, Feine Bella by Fürstenball Bordeaux, Westfalen. The breeders, Zuchtgemeinschaft Ackmeyer, Becker, Dedding, Wiebeke, owned by Helsland Dressage, and the rider, Gardia Martinez, Spagna. At position number 6, Share City by Governor Sanamur, Oldenburg Brett, the breeder Gestuut Meijenburg, Gisa Löwe, owner, and the rider Lena Valdman, Germany. At the 5th position, from the Netherlands, Franka Loo, Raccoon by Hero de Niro, Belgian Warmbloods, the breeder and owner, Arjen Beckers, Hekstade in Den Hoorn. There she is, Franka Loo, Raccoon. At the 4th place, from the Netherlands, Kirsten Brower, and the KWPN mare, Mark Precious by Ferguson Vivaldi, the breeder, Titan Bideras, the owner, the rider herself, Kirsten Brower, Mark Precious. Now the 3 best horses are the breeders and owners there of the 3 best horses. We need you for the prize giving. Longines final for 5-year-old horses at the Longines FEI WBFSH World Breeding Dressage Championships for young horses. Ladies and gentlemen, the world champion, Lumière St. Paris and Victoria Valentin for Denmark. Second for Germany, Vitalos by Vitalis and Leoni Richter, Germany. And third, Fashion Prince by First Romancier, Oldenburger Brett, and the German rider Frederick Vondre. There's the top three ladies and gentlemen. And now we invite the owners and breeders to stand next to the horse-athlete combination. Please enter the arena, the owners and breeders. And then we have a special moment before we are presenting the prizes. Lumbiers and Paris, breeder Bente Börjesson, the owners United Dressage, Valentin Dressage, breeder of Vitalos, Josef Bramlage, owners Hengsthaltung, Heldstein Schokkermühle, and the breeders of Fashion Prince, Christine Lewitz, Paul Schokkermühle, and the owner of Kastelman. Ladies and gentlemen, a special moment. Would you please all rise? De vlag zal worden gehesen. Gaan luisteren naar het volkslied, de National Anthem of Denmark. World champion Lumbiers in Paris, Denmark. The owners will receive a plate. Breeders receive a recognition, and the athletes receive also a plate. First, the golden plates for Lumbiers in Paris and Valentin, Victoria Valentin. Andries van Dalen, board member, president KWPN, will present the plate for the owners. Jan Pedersen, president of the WBFSH, will present the recognition for the breeders. And Bettina de Ram, FEI Dressage director, will present the plates to the athletes. This is a very special moment. The world champion, Lumbiers in Paris. The mare by Blue Horse Sancho Pro, Blue Horse Rockefeller, Dennis Swanblood, the breeder Bente Börjesson, and the owners United Dressage and Valentin Dressage, and the rider Victoria Valentin. With a wonderful result, 91.2. Uiteraard voor de fotografen het moment. Mensen die daarbij horen. Kokkers, eigenaar. At the second position, Vitalos, the breeder Josef Bramlage, owner Hengsthaltung, Heldstein Schokkermühle, and the rider for Germany, Leoni Richter. Judith Benne, brand manager Longines de Netherlands. Uiteraard vertegenwoordigt hier bij deze prijsuitreiking. Zoals ik al zei, Andries van Dalen, board member, president KWPN. Jan Pedersen, president of the World Breeding Federation Sport Horses. On behalf of the FEI Fédération Équestre Internationale, Bettina de Ram, Dressage Director. Judith Benne, brand manager Longines Netherlands. Blowers from the Netherlands. Then at the third position, Passion Prince by Fürst Romancier Sarkozy Oldenburg bred. Gustave David Sportschockenmühle, the breeder, the owner of Kastelman, and the rider for Germany, Frederick Vondre. Yvonne Portovolga. Wonderful Longines watch for the winner, Victoria Valentin, presented by Judith Benne and brand manager Longines Netherlands. What a day for Denmark. Danish Warmbloed. Longbjörgs in Paris. Tomorrow, the final day. Another most exciting day at Sunday, with the Longines final 7-year-old horses. Also the Grand Prix Freestyle and the Longines final 6-year-old horses. Tomorrow, the place to be. National Equestrian Center, Bernal. Eigenaren, pokkers treden terug. Plaats te maken. Prachtige Longines horloge gaat mee naar Denemarken met Victoria Valentin. En de world champion, ladies and gentlemen, Longbjörgs in Paris en Victoria Valentin voor Denmark. Zullen we nog een keer gaan staan? Gold voor Denmark. Silver, Vitalos. En bronze, Passion Prince. Second, Vitalos, third, Passion Prince. But this is the world champion. Where are the fans from Denmark? Look at that. Longbjörgs in Paris, the world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, a little bit louder. Let's hear you once again for the world champion. And thanks to Longines. Also thanks to Judith Benne, brand manager Longines Netherlands. Bettina de Ram, Dressage Director, FEI, Jan Pedersen, President of the WBFSH, and Andries van Dalen, Board Member and President of the KWPN. Was the most exciting day today, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow we expect you back again here in the main arena for another exciting competition tomorrow morning. Then we have 2 finals and we have the Grand Prix Freestyle. Have a nice evening and see you tomorrow.